Chapter 24, Shiva consents to marry Parvati. The gods said, Obeisance to Lord Shiva, obeisance to the destroyer of Kama, obeisance, obeisance to one worthy of eulogy, to one of profuse splendor, to the three-eyed Lord. Obeisance to Siva clad in skin, obeisance to the terrible-eyed, to great Lord and to the Lord of the three worlds. You are the Lord of worlds, you are the Father, the Mother, and the Lord, you are Siva the benefactor. You are particularly compassionate. You are the creator of all the worlds. O Lord, you shall save us. O great God, except you who else is competent to destroy misery? Brahma said, on hearing these words of the gods, Nandikesvara, who was endowed with great sympathy, began to inform Shiva. Nandikesvara said, O foremost among the gods, Vishnu, other gods, the sage, and Siddhas eulogize you. In order to see you they are being threatened by Asuras. Hence they seek some remedy and resort to thy feet, the seat of great fearlessness. Hence, O Lord of all, the sages and the gods shall be protected by you. You have been particularly mentioned as the kinsman of the distressed and favorably disposed towards your devotees. Brahma said, Shiva, who was thus informed by Nandan and who was extremely sympathetic, slowly reverted from his meditation and opened his eyes. Then Lord Shiva, the highly efficient great Atman, reverted from his trance and spoke to the gods. Shiva said, O great gods, Vishnu, Brahma, and others, why have you come near me? Mention the reason for the same. Brahma said, on hearing these words of Shiva, all the gods rejoiced. They looked at Vishnu as if to induce him to speak. Then Vishnu, the great devotee and benefactor of the gods, mentioned the matter of great importance of the gods as mentioned by me before. Vishnu said, O Shiva, all the gods have come here to submit to you their misery perpetrated mysteriously by Taraka. O Shiva, the demon Taraka will be killed only by your self-begotten son and not otherwise. Ponder over what I have said and take pity on me. Obeisance, O great Lord, to you. O Lord, redeem the gods from the misery brought about by Taraka. Hence, O Lord Shiva, Parvati shall be accepted by you and grasped with your right hand. Accept her hand as offered in marriage by the Lord of Mountains. She is full of noble attributes. On hearing those words of Vishnu, Shiva was pleased and said, indicating to them the goal of the good, eager in yogic feats as he was. Shiva said, if Goddess Parvati, the most beautiful lady, were to be accepted by me, she will be able to resuscitate Kama on account of the marriage. Then all the gods, sages, and ascetics will become lusty and incompetent in the great path of yoga. Kama was burnt by me for the achievement of universal goal. It was at the suggestion of Brahma, O Vishnu. No anxiety need to be felt in this connection. O Lord of gods, O intelligent one, it is your duty not to be obdurate after considering the situation of what shall be done and what not. O Vishnu, a great favor to the gods has been done by me when Kama was burnt. May yet all stay free from lust certainly along with me. Just as I, so also you, O gods, can without effort perform difficult tasks being endowed with the energy of great penance. Kama not being with you, you can be endowed with the supreme bliss and be free from aberrations by means of spiritual contemplation, O gods. O Brahma, O Vishnu, O Indra, O sages, and O gods, what had been done by Kama formerly and forgotten by you may be recollected and pondered over. O gods, meditation for everyone had been spoiled by the stubborn Kama, the great archer formerly. Kama leads to hell, lust to anger, anger to delusion, and delusion destroys penance. Anger and lust shall be eschewed by you, the best of gods. My words shall be heeded by you all and not otherwise. Brahma said. After saying thus, the bull-bannered Lord Shiva expressed the wish Tha Brahma, Vishnu, the gods, and the sages should speak. Shiva became quiet after resorting to meditation again. Shiva, as before, was surrounded by his Ganas. Shiva, though within himself his own soul, the form that is unsullied, free from distortions, aberrations, and ailments, the form which is greater than the greatest, eternal, free from sense of possession, free from obsessions, beyond the ken of sounds and words, devoid of attributes and knowable through perfect wisdom. Thinking upon his own features thus in his meditation, the Lord, the cause of great enjoyment and protection, became engrossed in supreme bliss. On seeing Shiva again engaged in meditation, all the dwellers of heaven, Vishnu, Indra, and others, humbly told Nandan. The gods said, "What shall we do now? Shiva has become detached and has gone on meditation. You are a companion of Shiva and pure assistant. You are omniscient. O chief of the Ganas, we seek refuge in you. Please guide us. What is the remedy by which Shiva can be propitiated?" Brahma said, "O sage," thus urged by the gods, Vishnu, and others, Nandan, the favorite Gana of Shiva, replied to the gods. Nandaswara said, "O Vishnu, O Brahma, O Indra, O gods, and O sages, pay heed to my words gratifying to Shiva. If you persist still in your wish that Shiva shall marry, you shall eulogize with respect and piteous request. O gods, great Lord cannot be made subservient by ordinary devotion. The Supreme Lord does not even what shall not be done when moved by extraordinary devotion. O Brahma, Vishnu, and other gods, then act accordingly, otherwise go the way you have come. Tarry not." Brahma said, "O sage," on hearing his words, Vishnu and other gods, considering that it must be so, eulogized Shiva with pleasure. "O great Lord, Lord of the gods, O ocean of mercy, lift us up from the great distress. Save us who have sought refuge in you." Brahma said. Thus the gods eulogized Shiva with many piteous entreaties. They cried loudly, being agitated by their devotion. Vishnu, accompanied by me, spoke out many piteous words, remembering Shiva with great devotion. Shiva was thus eulogized by the gods, Vishnu, and me. He, the great Lord, ceased his meditation due to his attachment for his devotees. The delighted Shiva said, heightening the pleasure of Vishnu and other gods, after glancing at them with merciful looks, "Shiva is favorable disposed to his devotees." Shiva said, "O Vishnu, O Brahma, O Indra, and other gods, why have you all collectively come here in my presence? Tell me the truth." Vishnu said, "O great Lord, you are omniscient. You are the immanent being and the Lord of all. Don't you know what is in our mind? Still I speak at you bidding. O Shiva, many kinds of miseries have befallen us due to the demon Taraka. It is for that you have been propitiated by the gods. For attaining you Shiva is born of mountain Himachala. The demon's death can be at the hands of your son alone, begotten of her. This is the boon granted to him by Brahma. Incapable of being killed by others, the demon harasses the entire universe. At the instance of Narada, she is performing a great penance. All the three worlds consisting of the mobile and immobile beings have been enveloped by her refulgence. O Lord Shiva, please go and grant Shiva the boon. O Lord, destroy our misery and bestow happiness on us. O Shiva, there is a great enthusiasm in my heart as well as in those of the gods to witness your marriage. Please get it performed in a fitting manner. The opportune moment for the fulfillment of the boon granted by you to Ratai has arrived. Make your promise fruitful. Brahma said, after saying this and bowing to and eulogizing him with different hyms, Vishnu, the gods, and the sages, all of us waited in front of him. On hearing the words of the gods, Shiva, subservient to his devotees, laughed and replied. Shiva is a strict preserver of Vedic conventions. Shiva said, O Vishnu, O Brahma, O gods, all of you please hear with attention. I am going to say a specific thing in a suitable manner. Marrying is not a proper thing for men. Marriage is a great fetter that binds firmly. There are many base bondages in the world. Association with women is the toughest of all. One can free oneself from all bondages except that of women. Anyone bound with nooses of iron and timber can secure release, but one bound with nooses of women never frees oneself. Worldly enjoyment tightens the bondage. Salvation is inaccessible to a man drawn to worldly enjoyment even in his dream. If he wishes for happiness, an intelligent man shall duly forsake all worldly pleasures. Worldly enjoyment that dooms persons is on a par with poison. O Indra, a man attains downfall even by conversing with a sensuous person. Great preceptors say that worldly enjoyment is a bitter beer mixed with sugar. Although I know and realize all these, although I have specific wisdom, yet I shall accede to your request and make it fruitful. I am definitely subservient to my devotees. Hence I may do very thing. I am known all over the three worlds as one who performs ill-fitting things. The vow of the king of Assam, Kamarupa, was made fruitful. I saved King Sudaksina, who had become a hireling and a prisoner. I am the three-eyed God who bestows happiness but brought about the misery of Gautama. I especially curse those wicked persons who harass my devotees. I have the feelings of endearment towards devotees. I drank up poison for the welfare of the gods. O gods, the miseries of the gods have always been removed by me. For my devotees, I experienced many sufferings. I removed the misery of the sage Visvanara by becoming a householder. What is the use of talking much? O Vishnu, O Brahma, I speak the truth. All of you know truly that I have vowed as follows: whenever any devotee of mine is involved in any adversity, I remove it instantaneously and completely. I know the sufferings you undergo from the demon Tarika. I shall remove them. Truth, I tell you the truth. Although I am not interested at all in dalliance, I shall marry Parvati for begetting a son. O gods, all of you go back to your respective abodes fearlessly. I shall achieve your task. In this respect you need not be anxious at all. Brahma said, O sage, after saying this, Shiva became silent and entered into spiritual contemplation. Vishnu and other gods went back to their respective abodes.
Chapter 26 Parvati Jatila Dialogue. Brahma said, When those sages returned to their abodes, Lord Shiva, the cause of great enjoyment and protection, wanted to test the penance of the goddess. Under the pretext of testing, Shiva wanted to see her. With a delighted mind, he assumed the form of Jatila, an ascetic with matted hair, and went to the forest of penance of Parvati. He took the form of a very old man with the body of a Brahmin. His brilliance shone. He was delighted in mind. He had an umbrella and a staff to support him. There he saw the goddess surrounded by her maids on the platform, as pure as the digit of the moon. Shiva, who is favorably disposed towards his devotees, approached her with pleasure in the guise of a celibate. On seeing that Brahmin of wonderful refulgence come, Goddess Parvati worshipped him with all the articles of worship. She worshipped him with great joy by means of well-prepared and arranged articles of worship. Thereafter, Parvati inquired after the health of the Brahmin with respect. Parvati said, "Who are you, and whence have you come in the guise of a brahmachari? You are making this forest refulgent by your splendor. Please speak, O foremost among Vedic scholars." The Brahmin said, "I am an aged Brahmin roaming about as I please. I am an intelligent ascetic, bestowing happiness and helping others. Who are you? What is your parentage? Why do you perform penance in this isolated forest? Your penance cannot be surpassed even by sages of eminent status. You are neither a small girl nor an old woman. You appear to be an auspicious young woman. How is it that you are performing this penance even when you are unmarried? O gentle lady, are you the wife of an ascetic who does not provide you with food and shelter, and so leaving you has gone to another place? Tell me, in which family are you born? Who is your father? What are your undertakings? You are very fortunate. Futile is your interest in penance. Are you the mother of the Vedas? Are you Lakshmi or Saraswati? I dare not guess who you are." Parvati said, "O Brahmin, I am not the mother of the Vedas, nor Lakshmi, nor Saraswati. I am the daughter of Himachal, and my name is Parvati. Previously I had been born as Sati, the daughter of Daksha. By yogic means I cast off my body, since my husband was insulted by my father. Even in this life, Shiva came to me, but due to ill luck he reduced Kama to ashes, left me and went away. O Brahmin, when Shiva went away, I came out of my father's house, being greatly dejected, to perform this steady penance on the banks of the celestial river. Even after performing this severe penance for a long time, I could not attain him. I was just consigned myself to fire, but on seeing you, I have stopped for a while. Now you can go. I shall enter fire, since I have not been accepted by Shiva. Wherever I take birth, I shall woo only Shiva." After saying so, Parvati jumped into the fire in the presence of the Brahmin, although she was forbidden by him again and again. Even as she jumped into the fire, it became as cool as sandal paste, due to her ascetic power. The Brahmin stopped her standing on her way as she was trying to go away, and asked her laughingly. The Brahmin said, "O gentle lady, I cannot understand anything Your penance is wonderful. Your body is not charred by the fire. Still your desire remains unsatiated so far. O gentle lady, let me know about your desire. I am a Brahmin who can bestow pleasure upon everyone. Please tell me everything truly and methodically. Since we have become friends, nothing should be kept a secret from me. I wish to ask you now, O gentle lady, whom do you wish to have as your husband? It is in you that the fruit of penance is seen. If your penance is for others or for the supreme object, wherefore should you perform it at all? You had a jewel in your hand. You cast it off and have taken up a base metal instead. Why have you rendered your beauty in vain by taking recourse to the penance that asking different sorts of fine clothes hide is worn by you? Hence tell me the reason truthfully for this penance. Let me, a great Brahmin, be pleased on hearing the same. Brahma said, thus asked by him, Parvati urged her maid. She of good rights made everything narrated to him through her maid. Induced by Parvati, her bosom friend Vijaya, who knew all about her good rights, spoke to the ascetic. The maid said, O saintly sir, listen. I shall recount the story of Parvati, as well as the reason for penance, if you wish to hear. This, my friend, is the daughter of Himachal, lord of mountains. She is the daughter of Menka, named Kali, but famous as Parvati. She is not married to anyone, nor does she desire any other than Shiva for her husband. She has performed this penance for 3,000 years. It was for that purpose that my friend started penance like this. I shall tell you the reason. Listen, O excellent Brahmin, O saintly one. Living of Indra and other gods, Vishnu and Brahma, Parvati wishes to attain the Pinak bearing Shiva as her husband. She, my friend, planted many trees before, O Brahmin. All of them have put forth flowers and fruits. My friend has been performing severe penance at the bidding of Narad to make her beauty fruitful, to embellish her father's race, and to bless Kam. She has directed this penance to Lord Shiva. O holy ascetic, how is it that her desire is not fulfilled? O excellent Brahmin, you inquired of her desire. I have just told you out of my love for her. What else do you wish to hear? Brahma said, on hearing these truthful words of Vijaya, O sage, Shiva, who came disguised as an ascetic, said laughingly. The ascetic said, the maid has said something, but I deduce only a huge joke therefrom. If it be true, let the gentle lady herself speak out. Brahma said, when these words were uttered by the Brahmin ascetic, Goddess Parvati spoke to the Brahmin thus. Chapter 27. Description of the fraudulent words of the Brahmachari. Parvati said, O great Brahmin, listen to my story entirely. What my friend has said just now is the whole truth, not otherwise. I am telling you the truth and not a lie. Shiva has been wooed by me, by mind, speech and action, as well as by means of ascetic feelings. I know that it is an inaccessible object. How can I attain it? Still, out of my eagerness, I am performing this penance. Brahma said. After saying these words to him, the daughter of the mountain kept quiet. On hearing the words of Parvati, the Brahmin said, so long I had been desirous of knowing what our gentle lady craves for, that she performs this great penance. O great lady, I have now known it through your own words. I am now going away from this place. You can do as you please. What should be done by you is not mentioned by me. To me your further friendship is useless. But this should be mentioned, that your future should be happy. Brahma said, after saying these words to her when he proposed to go, Goddess Parvati bowed to and spoke to the Brahmin. Parvati said, O excellent Brahmin, why do you go? Stay and enter me wholesome advice. Stay and tender me wholesome advice. When she said thus, the staff-bearing Brahmin stopped and spoke. The Brahmin said, if you are stopping me with devotion, truly desirous of hearing, then I shall explain everything whereby you may gain some wisdom. I know Shiva through and through with all his weighty attributes. I shall tell you the truth, listen with attention. The great Lord is bull-bannered. His body is smeared with ashes. His hair is matted. He is clad in the hide of a tiger. He has covered his body with the hide of an elephant. He holds the skull. Serpents twined around his limbs. Poison has left a mark on his neck. He eats even forbidden stuffs. He has odd eyes and is definitely awful. His birth and pedigree cannot be traced. He is devoid of the enjoyment of a householder. He has 10 arms. He is mostly naked and is ever accompanied by. What is the reason whereby you wish him to be your husband? O gentle lady, where has your wisdom gone? Think well and tell me. A previous terrible activity of his has been heard by me. If you are interested in hearing, I shall tell you. Daksha's daughter, the chaste lady, Sati would Rishabhavahan Shiva as her husband. Fortunately, their union was well known. Sati was discarded by Daksha because she was the wife of the skull-bearing Shiva. Shiva too was skewed in the allocation of shares in the sacrifice. On account of the insult, Sati was infuriated, and she discarded her dear life. Shiva too was abandoned by her. You are a jewel among women. Your father is the king of all mountains. Why do you crave for a husband like this, and that too by means of severe penance? Handing over a gold coin, you wish to buy a piece of glass. Setting aside the pure sandal paste, you wish to smear mud over your body. Unmindful of the sunlight, you wish to have the light of the glowworm. Throwing away the fine china silk, you wish to wear the hide. Discarding the life at home, You want for a life in the forest. O madam, throwing away excellent treasure, you wish a piece of iron in return. Living of the guardians of the quarters, you run after Shiva. This is not well said. It is against the conventions of the world. Were you with eyes like pearls of a lotus? Were this three-eyed creature Shiva? You are moon-faced, while Shiva is five-faced. On your head the diamond plaited hair shines with glossy splendor like a serpent. But Shiva has only the matted hair to boast of. Sandal paste is applied on your body, while the ashes of the funeral pyre on that of Shiva. Wear your silken garment and wear the elephant hide of Shiva. Wear the divine ornaments and wear the serpents of Shiva. Wear the deities that move about and wear Shiva, fond of goblins and their oblations. Wear the pleasing sound of his tabor. Wear his peculiar drum called Damru. Wear the set of fine drums and the inauspicious sound of his horn. Wear the inauspicious sound of double drum and wear the sound of his throat. There is no matching between you both. There is no matching beauty between you both. If he had money to spare, how could he have been a naked being? His vehicle is a bull. He has no other appendages. There is not even a single quality in the odd-eyed Shiva out of innumerable qualities pleasing to woman and expected in bridegrooms. Your friend Kama was burnt by Shiva. He insulted you also by leaving you off and going elsewhere. His caste is not recognized. He has no learning or wisdom. His assistants are the ghosts. Poison is seen even in his throat. He also moves about in isolation. He is detached from everything particularly. Hence you cannot fix your mind in him. Wear your necklace and wear the garlands of skulls that he wears. Wear your rich divine unguent and wear the ash from the funeral pyre that he has on his body. O divine lady, everything concerning you and Shiva, such as form, features, etc., is mutually discordant. I do not like your resolution. You can do whatever you please. You yourself have evolved taste for all bad objects. Turn your mind from him. If not, do whatever you please. Brahma said. On hearing these words of the Brahmin, Parvati said angrily to the Brahmin, who discredited Shiva. Chapter 28. Parvati sees Shiva's real form. Parvati said, so long I have been thinking that someone else has come. Now everything else has become clear. You are a person who cannot be killed. O Lord, what has been said by you is known. It is not otherwise. If what has been said by you is real, it cannot be called unreal. Sometimes Lord Shiva is seen in that guise, but he is the supreme Brahman who out of his own accord takes up bodies in his own spots. You have now come in the form of a student ascetic for the sake of deceiving me. Using false arguments, you have spoken fraudulent words. I know the real form of Shiva very particularly. I shall therefore explain Shiva's reality in the proper perspective after careful consideration. He is in fact devoid of attributes. but for some reasons he takes up attributes. How can he have birth, he who is really attributeless but takes up attributes? Sadashiva is the support and receptacle of all lores. Of what avail is learning to him who is perfect and the Supreme Soul? At the beginning of the Kalpa, all the Vedas were given by Shiva to Vishnu in the form of breath. Who can be a good Lord equal to him? How can he be measured in age? He who is primordial to everything and everyone. Even primordial nature, Prakriti, is born of him. Of what avail is then energy to him? With the threefold energies, Shiva blesses those who worship him always as Lord of energies. Even individual soul becomes fearless and conquers death by worshipping him. Hence his designation, the conqueror of death, is famous in all the three worlds. Vishnu attains and retains his Vishnuhood by his favor. Similarly, Brahma, his Brahmahood, and the gods, their Godhood. Whenever the Lord of gods wants to see Shiva, he has to propitiate his gatekeepers, the ghosts, etc. Otherwise his crown becomes shattered by batons. Really, Shiva is a great Lord. He has no need for many attendants. What is it that cannot befall one who serves the auspicious featured Shiva? What is deficient in that Lord, the Sadasiv like me? Even if a person is perpetually poor for 7 lives, after serving Shiva, his prosperity becomes unhampered. How can he find benefit inaccessible? He in whose presence the 8 siddhis, achievement, dance always for the sake of propitiation, with speechless mouths or with lowered faces. Although Shiva resorts to inauspicious things, yet by thinking on him everything becomes auspicious. His worship fulfills all desires. How can there be aberration in whom who always remains in an unmodified state? People are sanctified by merely seeing the person in whose mouth the auspicious name Shiva is ever present. If, as you say, the ash from the funeral pyre is unholy, how is it that the same transfer to Shiva's body is taken thence and worn on the head by the gods? How can he be easily realized, he who is the deity that creates, sustains, and annihilates the worlds, all the same who is devoid of attributes and is termed Shiva? The form of Shiva, the Supreme Soul, is that of Brahman, devoid of attributes. How can people like you know it? People with extrovert faces, persons of evil conduct, sinners, and those who have gone astray from the path of gods do not at all know the reality of Shiva of attributeless form. If out of ignorance of his reality anyone were to discredit Shiva, his merit hoarded ever since birth becomes reduced to ashes. You have censored Shiva of immeasurable splendor, and I have worshipped you, hence I have become sinful. On seeing a person who hates Shiva, one should take bath along with one's clothes. On seeing a person who hates Shiva, one should perform expiatory rites. O wicked one, you profess knowledge of Shiva, but you should know that the eternal Shiva is not known at all. Whatever may be the form or feature of Shiva, he is multiformed. Still he is my favorite. He is without aberration and beloved of the good. Neither Vishnu nor Brahma can equal the noble soul. How can then the gods and others be? They are always dependent on time and are not eternal. After realizing this with my sharp intellect faculty, I have come to this forest and am performing the elaborate penance for attaining Shiva. My ambition is to attain the Supreme Lord who is favorably disposed to his devotees and who blesses the distressed. Brahma said, after saying this, O sage Parvati, the daughter of the mountain stopped and meditated on Shiva with unaffected mind. On hearing the words of the goddess, when the Brahmin ascetic began to say something, Parvati, whose mind was fixed on Shiva and who was averse to hear any disparaging remarks about Shiva, spoke immediately to Vijaya, her maid. Parvati said, this base Brahmin must be prevented strenuously. He is inclined to say something again. He will surely censure Shiva. Not only does he disparage Shiva, incur sin, but also he who hears the same. A person who disparages Shiva is definitely worthy of being killed by Shiva's attendants. If it is a Brahmin, he must be dismissed, or the hearer shall go away from that place immediately. This wicked man will again disparage Shiva. Since he is a Brahmin, he is not to be killed. He shall be abandoned. He shall not be seen at all. Let us leave this place at once and go elsewhere. Do not tarry. Let there be no more talk with this ignorant man. Brahma said, saying this, O sage, even as Parvati was about to step ahead, the Brahmin manifesting as Shiva clasped his beloved. After assuming the handsome form in the manner Parvati has meditated upon and manifesting it to Parvati, Shiva addressed her while she stood her lowered head. Shiva said, where will you go leaving me? You are not to be discarded again by me. I am delighted. Tell me, what boon shall I grant you? There is nothing that cannot be given to you. From today I am your slave, bought by you by performing penance. I have been bought by your beauty. Even a moment appears like a yuga. O Parvati, O great goddess, you are my eternal wife. Let this shyness be eschewed. You please ponder with your keen intellect. O steady-minded one, you have been tested by me in various ways. Let my guilt be excused in following this worldly game. Even in the three worlds I do not see a beloved like you. O Parvati, in every respect I am subservient to you. You can fulfill all your desires. O beloved, come on near me. You are my wife. I am your bridegroom. I shall immediately go to my abode, the excellent mountain, along with you. Brahma said, when the Lord of the gods spoke in this way, Parvati rejoiced. Whatever distress she had felt during penance, she cast off as something old. O excellent sage, her weariness subsided. In fact, when the fruit is realized, the exertion felt during the process of undertaking perishes. Chapter 29 Shiv Shiva Dialogue. Narad said, O Brahma, O fortunate one, what happened thereafter? I wish to hear everything. Please narrate the glory of Parvati to me. Brahma said, O celestial sage, let this be listened to. I shall resume the story joyfully, the story that quells all sins and increases devotion to Shiva. O Brahmin, on hearing the words of Shiva, the great soul, and on seeing his pleasant form and features, Parvati was delighted much. The highly chaste lady, Goddess Parvati, replied to the Lord, standing near with great pleasure and face beaming with love. Parvati said, O Lord of gods, you are my husband. Has it been forgotten by you why you destroyed the sacrifice of Daksha formerly with great tenacity? Listen, O Lord of gods, I am born of manna for the achievement of the task of the gods terrified to the quick by Taraka. O Lord of gods, if you are delighted, if you are sympathetic, O Lord, become my husband. O Lord, do as I say. With your permission, I am going to my father's abode. Let your pure great glory be made well known. O Lord, you will please go to him with clever in divine sports. Be the mendicant and beg of him me as your alms. Spreading your glory in the worlds, you shall make everything about my father fruitful. Thus you start your householder's life. There is no doubt that my father with his kinsman will accede to your request, as he has already been urged by the sages lovingly. Formerly as Daksha's daughter, I was offered to you by my father, but the marriage rites were not duly performed then. The planets were not worshipped by my father. Therefore, a great defect occurred in our marriage in regards to the planets. Hence, O Lord, you will celebrate marriage in accordance with the rules for the fulfillment of the task of the gods. The customary procedures of the marriage shall certainly be followed. Let Himvat know that an auspicious penance has been performed well by his daughter. Brahma said, on hearing these words, Sadashiva was highly delighted. Laughingly and lovingly he spoke to Parvati. Shiva said, O great goddess, listen to my important statement. See that our marriage rites are performed in the proper manner, without deficiency. O sweet-faced one, all the living beings, Brahma and others are non-eternal. O beautiful lady, know all these visible things to be perishable. Know that the single beings assume manifold forms. The attributeless took over the attributes. That which is self-luminous and had other lights imposed on it. O gentle lady, I, the independent, have been made subservient by you. You alone are the great illusory power, the primordial nature that creates. This entire universe has been made of illusion. It is held by the Supreme Soul with His great intellect. It is united and enveloped by the gunas of the nature, of pervading souls of meritorious deeds, akin to the nature of the Supreme Soul. What are these planets? What are these sets of season? What are those other planets? O gentle lady, what is said by you, O fair complexioned one? We too have created the universe different in attributes and actions for the sake of devotees and with a disposition favorable to them. You are indeed the subtle primordial nature consisting of Rajas, Sattva and Tamas. You are capable of perpetual activity. You are both possessed and devoid of attributes. O slender-waisted lady of all living beings, I am the soul without aberration, without yearnings. I take up bodies at the request and wishes of my devotees. O daughter of the mountain, I will not go up to him with your father. I will not become a mendicant and beg of him for you. O daughter of the Lord of mountains, even a weighty person endowed with great qualities, even a noble soul is considered base immediately after uttering the words, "Please give me." O benevolent lady, after knowing this, what is it that you say is our duty? Gentle lady, do as you wish. Brahma said, thus addressed, the great goddess, the chaste lady of lotus-like eyes, told Shiva with devotion after bowing to him again and again. Parvati said, you are the cosmic soul and I am the cosmic nature. There is nothing to deliberate on this. We two are independent and subservient to the devotees. We two are both possessed and devoid of attributes. O Lord Shiva, with effort you will please do according to my request. O Shiva, beg of him worth for me. You will bestow a fortune on him. O great Lord, be sympathetic. I am your devotee forever. I am your wife forever in every birth. You are Brahman, the great soul, devoid of attributes, greater than primordial nature, without aberration, free from earnings, independent, great Lord. Still you are possessed of attributes too, and enthusiastic in the uplift of the devotees. You spot about in your own soul, engrossed in it. You are clever in your different spots. O great Lord, I know you in every respect. O omniscient, of what avail is detailed talk? Take pity on me. Spread your glory in the world, indulging in your wonderful divine spots. Singing them, O Lord, people can cross the ocean of worldly existence. Brahma said, after saying these words to the great Lord, Parvati stopped and bowed to him frequently with shoulders stooping and palms joined in reverence. Thus addressed by her, Shiva of noble soul, just to follow and imitate the worldly conventions, thought that it should be so. Being desirous of doing so, he rejoiced. Then Shiva vanished. With a great delight, he went to Kailasa, but at his separation from Parvati, his mind was distressed. After reaching there, he mentioned the news to Nandin and others. He was very much delighted. Those Ganas, Bhairava, and others were greatly pleased. They celebrated the occasion with great festivities. O Narad, all went on auspiciously. All misery was at an end. Shiva too was in a pleasant mood. Chapter 30. The celebration of Parvati's return. Narad said, O Brahma, O dear of great fortune, you have the real vision and are blessed. This wonderful story was heard by me, thanks to your blessings. When Shiva returned to his mountain, O intelligent one, what did Parvati, all auspicious, do, and where did she go? Please tell me. Brahma said, O dear, listen with pleasure to what happened thereafter when Shiva returned to his place. I shall mention it, remembering Shiva. Accompanied by her maids and assuming meaningful dress and features, she returned to her father's house, repeating the name of Lord Shiva. On hearing that Parvati was returning, Mena and Himvat, excessively delighted, went ahead, seated in a divine vehicle. The chief priest, the citizens, the maids, the kinsmen, and also others accompanied them. All the brothers with Mainak, the eldest, accompanied them, highly delighted and crying shouts of victory. The auspicious water pots was placed in the main highway decorated with sandal paste, aguru, musk, and branches of trees with fruits. The priests, Brahmins, and sages reciting the Vedas, dancing girl, all went ahead seated on lofty elephants to receive her. All round stumps of plantain trees were fixed. Women along with their sons and husbands held lamps in their hands. Brahmins were shouting mantras, etc. in an auspicious voice. Various instruments were played. Conch shells were sounded. In the meantime, Parvati reached the outer skirts of the city. Entering the city, she saw her parents again. On seeing the parents rushing at her in their great delight, she gladly bowed to them along with her maids. They gave her their blessing and embraced her, saying, "O darling." They shed tears in their excitement of love. Women near and dear, as also the wives of her brothers, embraced her closely with great pleasure. A great task has been well accomplished by you. It has saved the whole family. All of us are sanctified by your noble conduct. Praising her with these and similar words, they bowed to her with great delight. They worshipped her with sandal paste and sweet-scented flowers in great joy. At that time the gods, seated in their aerial chariots in the sky, showered auspicious flowers, bowed to and eulogized her with hymns. Then the Brahmins and others joyfully took you within the city in a resplendent chariot. Then the Brahmins, the maids, and other women took her within the house with due honor. O great sage, ladies performed her ceremonial ablution. The Brahmins offered benedictions. Himvat and Menka rejoiced much. Himvat considered his household life fruitful. A daughter is far better than an ignoble son. He praised you too, Narada, saying, "Well done, well done." The Lord of the mountains gave monetary gifts to Brahmins and lords. He made the Brahmins recite auspicious hymns as part of the festivities. The parents, delighted with the daughter, the brothers and the sisters, gathered joyful in the courtyard, O sage. The happy and delighted Himvat honored everyone. Then he went to the Ganga for his bath. In the meantime, Shiva, favorably disposed to his devotees and prone to divine sports, assumed the guise of a dancer and approached Menka. He held the blowing horn in his left and the drum in his right hand. He wore a red cloth and had the wallet suspended behind his back. In the guise of a dancer with the skill of dancing and singing, he danced well and sang many songs in sweet voice. He blew horn and played on the drum in very sweet tunes. Everything was very pleasant. All the citizens, men, women, children, and old folks, assembled there to witness the performance. O sage, on hearing the sweet songs and seeing the delightful dance, the people entered into raptures of ecstasy. Parvati became unconscious. She saw Shiva's handsome form, bearing trident and other symbols before her vision. He had smeared the ashes all over his body. He was wearing a garland of bones. His face was beaming with his shining 3 eyes. He had the sacred thread of a serpent, exquisitely white in complexion. The handsome Lord Shiva, the friend of the distressed, the ocean of mercy, was repeating the words, "Choose the boon or the bridegroom." On seeing him thus in her mind, she bowed to him. Mentally, she had chosen the boon when she had said, "Be my husband." And he had granted her the auspicious boon with pleasure and vanished. The mendicant now continued the dance. Meena, who was greatly delighted, took gems and jewels in gold vessels in order to give them to him. But the dancer did not accept the gifts. He requested for the hand of Parvati and began to dance and sing again. Meena was surprised on hearing his words, and she was furious. She rebuked the mendicant and wished to draw him out. In the meantime, the Lord of Mountains returned from the Ganga. He saw the mendicant in the human form in his courtyard. On hearing the details from Meena, he became very angry. He ordered his attendants to drive out the dancer. But, O excellent sage, none of them could push him out, as he was hot to the touch like a blazing fire and was very brilliant. Oh dear! Then the mendicant, who was clever at diverse sports, showed his endless great power to the mountain. The mountain saw him immediately transmuted in the form of Vishnu, the four-armed, with crown or earrings and yellow garment. Flowers, etc., which had been offered to the mace-bearing Lord Vishnu at the time of worship, he saw on the body and over the head of the mendicant. Then the Lord of Mountains saw the four-faced deity, the creator of the worlds, red in color and reciting the Vedic hymns. Then the Lord of Mountains saw the form of the sun, the eye of the universe, much to his enthusiastic amazement. Then, O dear one, he saw him in the wonderful form of Shiva, accompanied by Parvati. He was smiling and shining beautifully. Then he saw him in the form of a mass of splendor of no specific shape. It was unsullied, free from peculiar attributes and desires. It was wonderfully formless. Thus he saw many forms and features there. He was surprised and delighted much. Then the chief of mendicants begged of Himvat and Meena the hand of Parvati as alms. He, the source of great enjoyment, did not accept anything else. The Lord of Mountains, deluded by Shiva's magic, did not accede to his request. The mendicant too did not take anything. He vanished from the scene. Then Himvat and Meena realized that Shiva had deceived them and gone to his abode. After some pondering, they developed a feeling of devotion to Shiva, who is the cause of salvation, the bestower of divine bliss.